Good evening. It's so nice to see so many of you here on this last day of 2018. In November, I participated in an interdenominational Buddhist event at Nalanda Bodhi West. It started out with chanting by the ministers and the Rinpoche, who else? Of different temples. And then we had introductions, we had talking, discussion, we ate, and we listened to a jazz band, and we listened to a Sufi/Muslim singer and drummer, and then we danced. We divided up into groups, and each of us, or each group, was supposed to choreograph a dance to a Buddhist phrase. I was dancing with my group, and all of a sudden, I recognized someone I knew from my son's elementary school. I was so excited. "Margaret," I screamed. She didn't recognize me. I said, "We're neighbors. Our sons went to John Hay's school together." Then it dawned on her who I was. Don't you love how this happens? Has it happened to you? We caught up with each other's children quickly, but I haven't seen her since, and she lives only a block and a half away. But I'm sure we'll get together again. The thrilling part for me was to find another Buddhist in my community, and a non-Asian one, and white. She has been attending Shakaya Buddhist temple for many years. The event that she and I had come to and where we met was the second Celebrating the Sangha event at Nalanda West. If it were not for this event, I would not have reconnected with this neighbor. So let me tell you about this event and why it was here that I delivered my most impressive Dharma message in 2018. It was at this event called Celebrating the Sangha 2018, sponsored by Northwest Dharma Association, that I quoted not from Shinran Shonin, our master, not Shakyamuni Buddha, but Prince Shotoku. Prince Shotoku wrote, "Let us cease from wrath and refrain from angry looks, nor let us be resentful when others differ from us. For all beings have hearts, and each heart has its own leanings. Their right is our wrong, and our right is their wrong. We are not unquestionably sages, nor are they unquestionably fools. We are both simply ordinary beings. How can anyone lay down a rule by which to distinguish right from wrong? For we are all one with another, wise and foolish, like a ring which has no end." I talked about why we marched in the Pride Parade the last 2 years, how we are trying to invite everyone into our Seattle Betsuin Sangha. At this event, there were about 40 Buddhists present, representing perhaps 20 different Sanghas from Seattle and nearby. Each described what they do. Some made sandwiches for the homeless, others provided meditation sessions and Dharma talks. Before we concluded, someone asked me where to find that passage I read in my talk. I told them they could find it on the internet quite easily if they looked under Prince Shotoku. Later, George Draffen shared a link to the participants that attended. I think everyone understood Prince Shotoku's sentiments. We all seek the same wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. I closed with Bishop Umezu's message, "Let us live our lives hearing the call from the realm of Amida Buddha, the Buddha of immeasurable wisdom and compassion. The call is the voice from our true and real home, the Pure Land. If we have no home to return to, our lives will be spent wandering aimlessly. Only when we find that our home is everyone's home can we look at each other as fellow brothers and sisters, parents and grandparents, and live with love and respect for one another. With this understanding, we can truly live our lives with joy, courage, humility, and appreciation. I added that Bishop Umezu also asked us not to judge those who do not agree with us. For me, rather than my message, I was most struck by how homogeneous we were gathered there. We were Asian, white, black, and in between. Perhaps white was the prevailing color. I didn't notice this at the time. We were all just Buddhists, appreciating the Buddhist teaching and being happy in our sameness. We opened up to one another over good food, great, new, improvised music, and dancing, and in some silent meditation, and reconnecting with neighbors. Meeting Margaret as a fellow Buddhist gives me more confidence to say, I am a Buddhist. Yes, I am Asian, I am Japanese, but I am not an ethnic Buddhist. I choose to be Buddhist. In a sense, I embraced my identity as a Buddhist by meeting my neighbor, Margaret, at this Buddhist event. And that's why my Dharma talk at Nalanda West and the celebrating the Sangha event was the most important one I gave in 2018. You could say meeting Margaret was happenstance, but I say that Amida Buddha allowed me to realize that that meeting was a gift. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Sensei Irene. Next, we have another minister's assistant, Reverend Rosalie May.
Good evening. If it's comfortable for you, I see we have a lot of new faces here, but could you join me in Gassho with palms together for a couple lines from the Threefold Refuge. Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavo, namandavo. Thank you. Happy New Year's. If you've come to these New Year's Eve services the last couple years, you might remember that I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. For myself, like you are all welcome to make your own New Year's resolutions, but it's not something that I do personally. I don't know if it's because the big joke about New Year's resolutions is that no one follows them, so what's the point? Or if it's something else, but I've been very firm in not making New Year's resolutions. So much so that I started a new diet 3 days ago. Something I do believe strongly in, though, that happens around this time is reflection and self-reflection, which is something we talk about here in Buddhism. And as I tried to reflect on 2018, I noticed the common themes or threads of gratitude, and especially relating to the three treasures and the threefold refuge that we read here in service every week. That opening line, difficult is it to receive a human form, that sometimes seems like a throwaway line, like, sure, difficult is it to receive a human form, but we've all managed it. I mean, 7 billion people currently are managing it, and according to Wikipedia, roughly 105 billion beings have managed to receive a human form. So how difficult is it really, it seems sometimes. But I was very lucky this summer, and I got to go up to the temple in Spokane and lead a service for their Obon, their memorial service. And at that same time was a time when one of the local orca whales had just lost her baby. And for reasons that we can't understand, she could not let that baby go. And she carried that baby around for at least 17 days. And that story couldn't help but remind me of a common story that we tell here in Jodo Shinshu of Kisa Gotani, who lost her young baby. And she couldn't handle it either. And so she held on to her baby and she took it around to the village and knocked on everyone's doors and said, "Can you heal my baby? My baby's sick." And everyone said, "You know, your baby's dead. Of course we can't help you. I'm so sorry, but we can't help you." And so finally someone sent Kisa Gotani to Shakyamuni Buddha. And the Buddha said to her, "Okay, I can heal your son. What I need from you is a small handful of mustard seeds. They have to come from one of your neighbors." And she's like, "Okay, I can do that. I'm sure one of my neighbors will give you some mustard seeds." And then he says, "But they have to come from a home that has never experienced death or loss." And so she goes back to her village and she knocks on all those doors again and she says, "Can you help me? I need a handful of mustard seeds." Everyone's willing to help her, of course, have some mustard seeds. And then she says, "But have you experienced any death?" And everyone answers, "Yes, yes, my grandmother just died. My cousin passed away. I lost a child." Every house she goes to. And eventually she realizes that death is something that comes for all of us. But that orca whale doesn't get to hear that story. That orca whale was not born human. So maybe there is something to difficult is it to receive a human form. Who is going to comfort that orca whale over the loss of her baby? That whale does not get to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. But we, who were born as humans, we get to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. It's been a bit of a journey for me personally. When I was born, a white girl in South Jersey to a Christian family, it wasn't very likely that I would get to hear the Dharma of Jodo Shinshu, at least. And I was also very lucky to get to give a talk in Yakima for their Ohigan service. And I got to express my gratitude to the temple in Yakima. And then again when I came back here in Seattle, because when I was born, there was no chance that I was going to learn Japanese, go to Japan, and encounter Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Like, they didn't even teach Japanese at my school. But because of those Japanese immigrants over 100 years ago who came here and said, "I can't live without Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, will you please bring us someone from Japan?" And because those people translated the collected works of Shinran into English, and all of the people in Japan translated so many writings. Because of all of those people, I get to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. I get to be Jodo Shinshu. And that is amazing. It is difficult for me to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. And it is with deep gratitude that I can say thank you to all of those people who, without them, I would not get to be here. I would not be Buddhist. And that would be a real shame for me. So would you please join me again in Gasho for the last few lines from the Three Treasures? The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. And it is with that sentiment and with deep gratitude that I say thank you to 2018 and thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Sensei Rosalie. Finally, to give his greeting for New Year's Eve, Rinban Kusunoki.
No. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to this Joya-e service today. This is Seattle's, I think it is a tradition to sing Yube no Uta. I don't know how long Seattle is singing this song. Could you open the page? Which page was that? 233. Of course, I also sang this song before in Japan. Then, of course, last year also we sang this song, right? But I didn't pay attention to the meaning or lyrics. But somehow today I was singing this song in the Naijin here. I was reading the Japanese and also English translations too. Then the verse 1, peacefully the night is falling on the warning day. The temple bells, kane ga naru, kane ga naru. Gently embracing us in our worldly pain, the temple bell tolls, the temple bell tolls. Everyone listen to the truth and awaken. The temple bell tolls, kane ga naru, kane ga naru. Thanking the happiness of this day, the temple bell tolls, the temple bell tolls. So I somehow really appreciated this meaning of this song. Then I think it is really appropriate to sing this song at the end of this year before Joya-e service. Thank you for the body, I cannot pronounce this, ensembles. So thank you for, kind of this is a reunion. You all get together to perform this song. Then just before Joya-e service, all of us hit the bell. Then traditionally we hit 108 times, 108 times. Then we hit the bell 108. To hit 108 times means the number of 108 means our humans' desires, attachment, that our teaching says. So hitting 108 times, 108 time bell means we eliminate all of our desires and attachment and refresh our mind to welcome New Year. So after this service, all of us maybe do Oshoko first, then go and hit the bell. Then what do you think while you are hitting the bell? Maybe you may think about New Year's resolution. We may think about the year of 2018, that we may have to reflect upon the year of 2018. So, but also those lyrics, it is also really nice to think when we are hitting the bell, maybe we can think about our pain, peaceful night. We can think about the peaceful night. We can think about gently embracing us in our worldly pains. We can also think about everyone listen to truth and awaken. We also think about thanking the happiness of this day. So we can also think about, while we are hitting the bell, we can think about these Yube no Uta, which we just sang. One of my favorite passages of the Raja Sutra, this is my favorite and always have this passage in my mind. The passage says, wherever the Buddha travels, be it in the country, province, town, or village, there is no place which does not benefit from this virtue. Peace and harmony reign throughout the land. The sun and the moon shine brightly. The wind and rain are timely. And no disaster or disease ever occurs. The land is prosperous and the people live in peace. So there is no need to use soldiers and weapons. People respect virtue, cultivate benevolence, and diligently observe propriety and humility. So as a Buddhist minister, I always have this teaching in your mind. This is my core guidance. I believe once Buddhism spread all over the world, once all of the people appreciate and follow the guidance of Buddha, we don't, just like this passage says, people live in peace. People live in peace. So when I hit the bell, I hope everybody in this world live in peace, including me. So this is my understanding or appreciation of Buddhism. So from now we go to hit the bell, please start thinking. While you are hitting the bell, what do you think? What do you think? So let's have a 1 minute meditation. Then please reflect upon the year of 2018. Then please think how you start the year of 2019. Please join me in Gassho, put your hands together to have a 1 minute meditation. Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo